Am I audible to you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay, there was a net issue, I think. I don't know why it was happening. So that was the thing, that you have not said anything wrong. Okay, you have said it in positive sense. Don't think like that. I got it wrong. I always got any statement in a positive sense. Okay, that is, you have told to something uh, with our classes. Okay, so that means you want to learn from me in means in detailed manner, you can say, but that is not the uh, motto of our classes. Okay, this class is totally for the practical purpose, so that people will get interested in the subject of organon. Okay, maybe your fascination or my fascination is with the subject of organon, but this is the need of time, that we should stop those theoretical part like ode sapere. If I give you a lecture on ode sapere, it will take 2 classes. Okay, but think that what this ode sapere has to do with our clinic. Okay, this may be doing with the philosophical understanding of our, that may help this this may help the philosophical understanding of us, but it is not going to help our clinic. Is it going to help our clinic? Think yourself.
सर नहीं, मेरे मेरे दिमाग में बस यही चल रहा था कि today if you are saying that that is the theoretical part and this is the theoretical part, that means you have come across to the path that then only you define that is the theoretical part and this is the practical part. So I was also saying that if in order to learn the subject in a good manner, so I should also come across such paths. That was only I am saying.
Okay, that is that discussion of such parts are, you have got enough time in your college. Okay, from second year to fourth year, that is the period where you as you are a student, I think, of third year. Okay, you are a
Yes,
student of
sir.
third year. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that is why you are saying I appreciate your means desire to learn more and more. But that part, that is the thing which should be discussed in classes or separately, for only for those students who are interested in that. Okay, philosophy. This I'm giving. I have gave you example of ode sapere. If I started lecture on ode sapere, it will take 2 classes at least, so just to discuss from where this phrase has come, and history of medicine I will discuss, and what were the circumstances when Hahnemann started to use these. So this is important for our theoretical knowledge or academic purpose, but think of yourself how far it is necessary. Okay, and the motto of this class only to deal with the practical part of organ. There is no necessity, there is no necessity of means there is no necessity of that in our clinic. Okay, if anyone want to discuss those academic part, I have told again and again, a separate class for them can be instituted. I love teaching, I can teach those subjects also. Okay, just take the word symptom. If I am going to define the word symptom in a theoretical or academic part, I have to start from where the word symptoms come. Okay, do you know from which language this word symptoms come?
No, sir.
Okay, this is coming from symptomen. This is a German word for the symptom. Okay? This is a German word for the symptom. Like that manner, I have to start from that, but that is not going to serve our clinical understanding. Okay, so as there is theoretic medicine in organon of medicine which have been discussed, there are theoretic organon also which we should not indulge in those. Okay, in these classes, motto of that class, again, if anyone wants to learn in that fashion, it will take longer, and you are at an ideal stage, third year, fourth year, these are the periods. And the MD, you will go on examining, you will go on studying your MD. If you are taking Organon of Medicine, you have to read these things in detail form. Okay, each topic you have to deal with in detail. Okay, do you know I have just completed my thesis on the family history and its importance on prognosis. Okay, that was taken from a single aphorism, from a footnote, single footnote. Hahnemann has mentioned in Organon at only one place about the inheritance, and that footnote has been expanded in a thesis. Okay, so you will go on examining those subjects academically. I hope you are getting what I am trying to discuss. Okay, what I am trying to tell you, that our motto in this class is to learn the practical and clinical part only. We have not got enough time, like we have wasted our yesterday class in that only, whether this is the definition of disease or definition of symptom. Although this is the definition of symptom, but you can take as the definition of disease, and both will serve your purpose, clinical purpose. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything you want to tell? So be clear here only, and we will form any class and we will include you in that. Okay, I hope you will do your MD in Organon of Medicine, and I will be pleased to guide you in those parts. Okay, I am getting only few students who are interested to that level in Organon of Medicine. Okay, what in these classes, the motto of these classes I have discussed again and again from the very beginning. The motto of these classes to inspire students to do practice. Okay, to do clinical part, and the practice will help will be helped by these clinical organon. Okay, not by that theoretical, those theoretical organon. Theoretical organon will inspire in your life. Okay, will inspire in your life. Let me give you an example. In aphorism 9, Hahnemann discusses about higher purpose of existence. Okay, higher purpose. What is the higher purpose of existence? That thing will inspire in your day-to-day life. Philosophy will inspire you to become a good human being. Okay, but those theoretical philosophy will not let you to become a good physician. Is it not? Being a good human being is also necessary, but that is the different, that should be taught in different class, not here where we are discussing the practical part, the clinical part of the organon. Okay, clear?
Okay, sir, I
Okay.
understood, but the thing is that one request for you that arrange such theoretical classes, please, if possible.
Okay, we will arrange, we will try and arrange, but there are so less student interested in those topics. Okay, who will sit and discuss this? Odes Apere was from the poet Horace, it is in Latin, and who was Gillette? If you take the Gillette's poem, then you have to know who was Gillette. Okay, do you know who was Gillette?
No, sir.
Okay, why Hahnemann included, and where he first encountered this Odes Apere? Okay, and who used the term, this term first? Okay, all these things, these are the detailed thing, the theoretical organon we need not to go. Okay, for your examination, some parts are needed. Okay, for your examination, undergraduate examination, and whenever you are in doubt, just ask me personally. You can ask me, reach me anytime. Okay, so I hope this will make clear the motto of our classes. Okay, and again I have said you that don't bother about that what you have told. That was I have taken in very positive sense. That was nothing, and you have also told in a very positive sense, and thank you for that. So we were in aphorism number 6. Okay, and we have told that these changes in the health of the body and mind, which can be perceived externally by means of senses, is definition of disease. Okay, deviation from the healthy state, the definition of symptom. We have told you that. And in this aphorism number 6, two things Hahnemann have discussed. Number one is the sources of symptom, unprejudiced observer. This is important for your examination, undergraduate examination purpose, unprejudiced observer. Then sources of the symptoms, and then portrait of disease. Okay, now again there is a confusion. Again you will tell that this should be discussed. So what is portrait of disease and what is totality of disease? Okay, there is a confusion, and we need not to indulge in that confusion in detailed manner. Okay, just tell me what is portrait of disease and what is totality of disease.
Sir, I don't have the clear definition. I don't have.
Whatever definition you are having, just tell.
I know that much, that portrait of disease and totality of the symptoms are, portrait of the disease is means your disease is taking all the symptoms and modalities and location, that is the disease part, and totality of the symptom is comes when we come for the prescription part.
Okay, the disease part and totality will come for the prescription part. But what is totality is on whichever symptoms you are basing your symptoms, your prescription. That is the totality of disease and portrait of disease as a whole. Now go to 104, aphorism number 104.
Yes, sir.
Read it.
When the totality of the symptom that's specially mark and distinguish the case of disease, or in other words, when the picture of the disease, whatever be its kind, in once accurately sketched, the most
Stop
difficult
here.
part.
Stop here. Stop here and read it again and tell me what is the difference between totality and the picture of disease.
When the totality of the symptoms that specifically mark and distinguish the case of disease, or in other words, when the picture of the disease, whatever be its kind, is once accurately sketched.
Now
Picture
tell
of
me
the
what is the
disease
difference.
The picture of the disease is more accurate than the
No,
totality
or
of
it
the
is
symptom.
given with or no. Totality, you can use both the term interchangeably. Okay, whether it is totality, whether it is the picture. Okay, for the practical part. But for the theoretical part, you should, whatever you have said is correct. That portrait of disease is disease as a whole, and the totality of disease is the more marked, especially distinguished symptoms. Okay, distinguished symptoms. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Got the idea? This is the definition of totality, that especially mark and distinguish the case of disease. This is the definition of totality. Okay?
Okay, sir.
And in other words, this can be said that when the picture of the disease, whatever if its kind, once accurately sketched, that is the portrait of disease. Okay? And you can use both interchangeably. Can't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this totality of symptoms is the most marked and distinguished thing you are going to take for your prescription. Okay, or the portrait of disease is the whole picture of disease, whatever its kind. Okay. So if you are asked to write a short note on portrait of disease, you have to give reference to aphorism number 6, how it is sketched and what is its important. When you have been asked in your examination about totality of disease, that the definition in 104 and definition in aphorism number 7 you have to give. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Now come here again. So as simple as it is, but for all the theoretical purpose, we have made it very difficult. That totality is different, portrait of disease is very different, drastically different. No, that is not very much different. Okay, portrait and totality can be the same in some cases. Okay, like Hahnemann have defined in 100.04. But for your examination purpose, for your undergraduate examination purpose, whatever you have told, that will suffice. What have you told, that will suffice. Okay, that is the portrait of disease, and that is Gandhi ji matlab total Gandhi ji. Okay, Gandhi ji का मतलब है पूरा एक गांधी जी का एक portrait. And if you are giving for Gandhi, that if you are giving this only, let me share my whiteboard. If you are giving for Gandhi ji, if you are giving this and this, that is enough. Okay, for some this is enough, this is enough. Got it? Total Gandhi ji is a portrait, and this which is indicating that portrait is also enough. This is totality, this is totality, and that was portrait. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, totality
Yes,
and
sir.
portrait. Okay, that example you can use in your examination also. Okay, so now let us back to our topic in aphorism number 6, portrait of disease. Sources of symptoms have been discussed here, remarked by those around him, observed by the physician, felt by the patient. Three sources are of the symptoms are there. How you are going to make the portrait of disease? Felt by the patient, remarked by those around him, observed by the physician. Now एक एक करके आइए. What is the which on which you are going to attach your maximum importance? On which source? On which source you are going to attach the maximum importance?
What is felt by the patient?
On which source? These three sources are there, no? Patient, these are the sources of symptoms. Patient, physician, and the friends. On which you are going to give maximum importance? Anyone?
Which is observed by the physician.
Felt by the patient. Felt by the patient. Next is by those around him, told by those around him, and the next is by the physician. Which source you are going to give maximum importance?
Which is observed by the physician.
Which is observed by what you are telling, Anirban?
Which is observed by the physician.
Okay, which is observed by the physician. Next, Trisha, what you are telling? No, Komal?
Sir, which is noted by patient himself, that is subjective symptoms.
Okay, and Komal? You have any idea of yours?
Which is felt by the patient himself.
We cannot hear you.
Which are felt by the patient himself.
Okay, very good. So it is actually what Anirban is saying is also to some extent may be correct, but go to aphorism number 98. Go to aphorism number 98. Read.
Now, as certainly as we should listen particularly to the patient's description of his sufferings and sensation, and attach credence specially to his own expression wherewith he endeavors to make us understand his ailments, so certainly, on the other hand, in all diseases,
Why
but
in the bracket is there? Why? Why we are giving maximum credence? Credence means attaching maximum importance, believing that this is true. Believing that this is true. We are giving maximum credence to the patient's own expression because in the mouth of his friends and attendants, they are usually altered or erroneously stated. Error may be there in others, and those subjective symptoms only can be expressed by the patient himself. Okay, so we are giving maximum importance to the patient. Now, importance of the friends. When we are giving importance to the friend, when patient is not able to tell, patient was unconscious. Okay, patient was not able to tell. Now go to aphorism number, I think it is 218. Aphorism number 218. Aphorism number 218. Read it.
To this collection of symptoms belongs in the first place the accurate description of all the phenomena of the previously so-called corporeal disease before it degenerated into a one-sided increase of the psychical symptom and become a disease of the mind and disposition. This may be learned from the report of the patient's friend.
Okay, when the patient is unable to tell the story, all the things we are taking from the patient's friend also, but particularly this patient's friends or relatives are important in that case. When the patient is unable, patient is now insane, and what has happened before this insanity, the physical part of the disease can be learned from the patient's friend. Okay, now go to aphorism number 80 84 84 84.
Okay. The patient details the history of his sufferings. Those about him tell what they heard him complain of, how he has behaved, and what they have noticed in him. The physician sees, hears, and remarks by his other senses what there is of an altered or unusual character about him. He
Okay, they are
writes
also
down.
mentioned. They are also in this first sentence mentioned about three sources of symptoms: patient, his friend, and the physician. Where the physician's observation have been discussed in Organon of Medicine. The physician's observation have been discussed in the aphorism number
81.
90. 90. Go to 90. How to remember that observation O and 90. 0 is also O. Observation 90. This is always a short question or MCQ question in your examination, where physician observation have been discussed, where the lesser accessory symptoms have been discussed, where the obvious cause has been discussed. Okay, so this aphorism number 90 is the aphorism where Hahnemann have discussed the physician's observation. See,
When the
read it.
physician has finished writing down these particulars, he then makes a note of what he himself observed in the patient and ascertains how much of that was peculiar to the patient in his healthy state.
So this contains a long footnote. Now tell me one thing, that what includes the physician's observation. There is an article by Hahnemann in medical called medical observation. Okay, so you can go through that article. It is available in the lesser writing. But what includes this physician's observation? Just don't look at the footnote and tell me what includes this physician's observation.
Pulse rate,
Hmm?
check pulse rate, heartbeat.
Okay, that is one thing. Okay, any other?
So, characters of the
There any anemia?
Whether there is anemia, and so you can group these things. What you are telling can group these things in clinical examination part. Okay, and other, what you are observing, psychological behavior of the patient, tone of his voice, his mannerism. Okay, whether he was suspicious or not. So two things you are getting. You are getting one is analyzing the patient's mentals, the attitude, the temperament, the constitution. You are analyzing this, and another part is the clinical examination of your patient. That also included in your portrait of disease. Okay, and that you can take as totality. Tell me the digitalis pulse of the digitalis, pulse of the digitalis.
Every third beat intermits.
Huh?
Every third.
Very slow. I'm reading from Alan. Pulse full, irregular, very slow. Go to Alan and you will get in the next page. Full, very slow and weak, intermitting every third, fifth, and seventh beat. If you are getting this pulse will include in your totality, will be included in your totality. Okay. Examination of the tongue, the calmia, the heart block patients are with the sinking pulse, slow pulse. You can think of calmia. Okay, these are the clinical examination. Clinical examination also included in the physician's observation. Okay, that doesn't mean you are having stetho and you need to know the difference between systolic murmur and diastolic murmur. You don't need to know that much. Knowing that is good, well and good, but you need to know the difference between a normal heart sound and abnormal heart sound, so that you can refer the patient for a proper proper expert or proper clinical investigations. Okay, so these clinical examination, how many parts are there in clinical examination? How many parts are there in clinical examination? There are those: observation, palpation, percussion, auscultation, and in each point some thing can be given. And some examples can be given on which you can prescribe your medicine. Okay, so these observation, physician's observation includes those clinical examination also, and those what you are observing in the behavior of the patient, in the constitution of the patient, in the temperament of the patient. Okay, whether patient is suspicious or not, whether patient is well behaving, whether patient is trying to dominate, these things. Okay, so these are, now go to the footnote of 90 and read.
For example, how the patient behaved during the visit, whether he was morose, quarrelsome, hasty, lachrymose, anxious, despairing, or sad, or hopeful, calm, etc. Whether he was in a drowsy state or in any way dull of comprehension, whether he spoke
Comprehension dull,
hoarsely.
comprehension dull, and you find a confusion in the patient, that will indicate a miasm, that is psychotic. Okay, you find a confusion. I have shared somewhere a video where the patient was asking me again by sending the video that and I have already prescribed that patient thuja, okay, on the basis of this totality of symptoms, and that patient just confirmed by sending that video. I hope you have gone through that video where patient is asking me how to take this medicine, how to take that medicine. So this is dull and suspicious or confusion in the mind. This will indicate, this is one part of psychological observation. This is one part of observation. Okay, next.
Whether he spoke hoarsely or in a low tone or incoherently, or how otherwise did he talk? What was the color of his face and eyes, and of his skin generally? What degree of lifelessness and power was there in his expression and eyes? What was the state of his tongue, his breathing, the smell from his mouth, and his hearing? Were his pupils dilated or contracted? How rapidly, to what extent did they alter in dark and in light? What was the character of the pulse? What the condition of the abdomen? How moist or hot? How cold or dry to touch? Was the skin of this or that part? Or generally, what he lay with head thrown back, with mouth half or wholly open, with the arms placed above the head or his back, or in what other position, what effort did he make to rise himself, and anything else in him that may strike the physician as being remarkable.
Okay, this is all the body language of the patient. Okay, how the patient is sitting like that in front of physician, what that indicate? The patient is sitting like that in front of physician, what that indicate? Okay, these are the study of body language. When we will come to this aphorism, we will study a bit to that, how some patient inclined to sit. Okay, like calcarea calf patient will incline with whole their weight like this. Okay, a lycopodium patient will sit like this. Okay, pulsatilla leaning forward attitude. Okay, these are some guesses.
Hello, sir.
Clinical
Voice
observation,
is
clinical
cutting.
examination are common to all. Okay, and these observation, psychological, body language, his temperament, his constitution are special to the homeopathic physician. Okay, and each of these points have a medicine to discuss, have an example to discuss. We will discuss at somewhat later point. Okay, so we have discussed the friends, what are the friends expression, what are the physicians expression, and what are the this
Hello, sir.
aphorism questions. We have discussed this. Now go to this footnote. Footnote of this. It consists of footnote.
Aphorism number 6, sir.
Aphorism number 6. Footnote.
I know not therefore how it was possible for physicians at the sick bed to allow themselves to suppose that, without most carefully attending to the symptoms and being guided by them in the treatment, they ought to seek and could discover only in the hidden and the unknown interior what there was to be cured in the disease, ignorantly and flagitiously pretending that they could, without paying much
Ludicrously is the
attention
old term for ridiculous. Okay, now it is called ridiculous. This is old term.
without paying much attention to the symptom, discover the alteration that had occurred in the invisible interior, and set it to rights with unknown medicines, and that such a procedure as this could alone be called radical and rational treatment.
Okay, that without paying attention to the symptom, they are trying to search something materia peccans in the interior, which is the prima causa morbi for them. Okay, that we have discussed again and again in organism of medicine. Now go to next paragraph.
Is not then that which is cognizable by the sense in the disease through the phenomena it displays, the disease itself in the eyes of the physician, since he never can see the spiritual being that produces the disease, the vital force, nor is it necessary that he should see it, but only that he should ascertain its morbid action, in order that he may thereby be enabled to cure the disease. What else will the old school search for the hidden interior of the organism as a prima causa morbi, while they
Underline this.
reject
Underline
yes,
this.
sir. While
Prima
they
causa
reject
morbi.
morbi, while
This is
they
a Latin
reject
term to that part of this. Means you need to know, if you are asked about a short note in your undergraduate examination, you have to start from this, that this is a Latin term used by Hahnemann in the aphorism number 6 footnote, and discusses this thing. Next.
while they reject as an object of cure and contempt purposely despise the sensible and manifest representation of the disease, the symptoms that so plainly address themselves to us.
Okay, now
What is
underline this. Reject as an object of cure and contemptuously, with laughing, with disrespectful manner, despise the sensible and manifest representation of disease, the symptoms. Underline this. They are not paying heed to the symptoms. Okay, these symptoms are the representation of disease. Manifest, which is, you can say, the phenomena, the you are saying from you are feeling, it is cognizable to your senses. Okay, but they are objecting this, they are not accepting this as an object of their cure. Okay, underline this. Up to that, up to symptoms. Reject an object of cure and contemptuously despise the sensible and manifest representation of the disease, the symptom, and so plainly address themselves to us. That so plainly address that vitality is crying for help through these symptoms. What else do they wish to cure in the disease but these? Now read the sub footnote. This sub footnote has been removed from 6th edition, but there it was in the 5th edition. So read this.
the physician whose researches are directed towards the hidden relation in the interior of the organism may dearly err, means, but the homeopathist who grabs the requisite carefulness the whole group of symptoms, suppose
একটু
a
জোরে
sure
বলো, একটু জোরে বলো, শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
okay sir, but the homeopathist, okay
Read
sir,
the footnote
the,
again.
hello sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
The physician whose researches are directed towards the hidden relation in the interior of the organism may dearly err, but the homeopathist who grasps with requisite carefulness the whole group of the symptom possesses a sure guide, and if he succeed in removing the whole group of the symptom, he has likewise most assuredly destroyed the internal hidden cause of the disease.
Symptoms are removed. Symptoms are removed. Is that the internal cause of disease also been removed. Okay. Now, if you are taking guidance from the symptoms, you won't be erroring. Like if you are reading the description of migraine in the writings of Hippocrates. Okay, the description of migraine in the writings of Hippocrates, you will be surprised to know that the same symptoms have been given by the Hippocrates, what is given by the modern, one of the most modern textbook of medicine. Okay, so symptoms remaining same. 1,000 years before the symptoms was same. Now after 1,000 years, after the symptoms are same again. Okay, so you are getting a sure guide in the symptoms. But if you were taking the pathology under pathological understanding of that period, the Hippocrates would have said that this is occurring due to this bile. You have to correct the bile. You have to do venesection. That has been changed. Pathology books are regularly updated. Okay, if you are reading the description of tuberculosis at the time of Hippocrates, you will be surprised to know that the symptoms are still same. Those symptoms are still same. And if you are treating that case with the symptoms, don't know the pathophysiology, how these symptoms are occurring. Previously, they were telling that this is occurring this to that, and after then, they are telling that this is occurring due to this microorganism. Okay, the pathology is ever changing, experience is ever changing, but symptoms, if you are taking the symptoms as your guidance, you will be never erring because symptoms of the diseases are remaining same. Okay. Okay, that is why Kent at one place said that homeopathists are curing more typhoid than allopathic, dealing with the more cases of typhoid, because it before it is diagnosed we are curing, because we don't need a diagnosis for our treatment. Okay, one of the main difference of allopathic treatment and homeopathic treatment of modern days is that they need the diagnosis, but we don't need the diagnosis. We are curing even before the typhoid is happening. Maybe it was going to get into typhoid, in which week the typhoid is diagnosed by Vidal test, in the second week. Okay, the first week is for blood culture, and blood culture is also coming late, examination is also coming late, so no one is going for blood culture. Now one of the modern tests is available for diagnosing typhoid at the initial stage, that is typhoid. The count of IgM, antibody against the typhoid bacilli, that is the different thing. But typhoid is diagnosed at traditionally at second week. Okay, and if you are treating with the symptom, you can give your medicine before that only. Before you are naming the disease, you can give your medicine and curing the patient. So symptoms, if you are taking symptoms as your guidance, you won't be distracted from your tract. Okay, so this is a sub footnote to the sixth edition. Symptoms poses a sure guide. Now go to, we are skipping for a time being aphorism number 7. Go to aphorism number 8.
It is not conceivable. Hello. It is not conceivable, nor can it be proved by any experience in the world, that after removal of all the symptoms of the disease and of the entire collection of the perceptible phenomena, there should or could remain anything else beside health, or that the morbid alteration in the interior could remain uneradicated.
That includes a Hoofland's comment. Okay, who was Hoofland? He was a philanthropist, the owner of this social thinker, the owner of that Hoofland's journal of Hahnemann's time. It is called Lancet of Hahnemann's time. Now, what Lancet enjoys what reputation Lancet is enjoying in the medical world, Hoofland's journal was enjoying at that period of time. Okay, so he published an article in 1824 telling that homeopathy can remove the symptoms but the disease remains. Okay, homeopathy can remove the symptoms but the disease remains. Whatever I have discussed about Hoofland, the article and his journal and social thinker, these are all the part, academic part. Okay, still I have discussed in short. So he published an article in Hoofland journal which is saying that homeopathy can remove the symptoms but the disease remains, and that was the Hahnemann's observation also until 1816, when he started to discover the chronic miasm, work on chronic miasm. Before 1816 he was working and he was getting that yes, Hoofland is right in saying so, that homeopathy is removing the symptom, homeopathy is removing the symptom but disease is still remaining. Give me some time, there is a pause, there is again discussion is coming again, wait. We are back again. So what we are discussing? We were telling symptoms, no? That Hufland said, and that was the Hahnemann's observation also, that homeopathy can treat the disease, treat the symptoms, but disease remains. Okay, but he discovered why this was Hahnemann's observation, that Hahnemann was facing this thing, that acute diseases of individual nature. Okay, we have told that acute diseases are of individual nature, sporadic nature, epidemic nature. For all the practical purpose, we have combined sporadic and epidemic to one, and that is acute miasm due to some acute miasms. So acute diseases, aphorism number 73, we have dealt it before. Okay, have we dealt it before in the previous lectures?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this individual diseases are the explosion of the latent sora. In these particular kind of acute diseases, not in acute miasms. Acute miasms were being treated with Hahnemann, with the medicines, and it was not relapsing. Okay, but in these particular cases, diseases, individual diseases, it was relapsing again and again. It was due to explosion of the latent sora. Okay, the miasm, individual diseases due to miasm. Okay, that was relapsing again and again, and that led Hahnemann to think that there must be something which is keeping up the disease. And when he discovered this thing, he made this statement that no, if the symptoms are removed, the disease are also removed. Okay, that has been discussed in this 82, this 82, 83 and 80 footnote, 80 footnote that has been discussed. We will discuss it again. Okay, clear? And why Hufland was telling this? This is a 5 marks question in your university examination, or 10 marks question. Discuss the Hufland's comment. So we have to, you have to make in this manner, that why Hufland was telling this. So go to footnote second part. Go to footnote second part.
When a patient,
Why Hufland was telling that? He views the disease as something material, because he views from here. Hufland, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6th line. Hufland asserts this in the following word: homeopathy can remove the symptom, but disease remains. He maintains, partly from mortification at the progress made by the homeopathy out of jealousy to the benefit of mankind, partly because he still holds the thoroughly material notion respecting which he is still unable to regard a state of being of the organism where it is dynamically altered by the morbidly deranged vital force as an altered state of health, but views the disease as something material. Okay, so this is again the theoretical or academic part of the Organon. Okay, why Hufland? That is nothing to do with our clinic. Okay, who was Hufland? Nothing to do with our clinic. In which year his article was published? Nothing to do with our clinic, but it is important for our academic purpose, theoretical purpose. Okay, I will give some hints to that, where as many of the undergraduate students are there, so we will discuss a bit. Okay, Anirban?
yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now come to aphorism number 7. Aphorism number 7. I hope I have some time. Okay, we will take 5 minutes and just read something. Aphorism number 7. Read aphorism number 7.
Now, as in a disease from which no manifest exciting or maintaining causa occasionalis has to be removed.
This is the definition of causa occasionalis. Okay, manifest exciting cause, which you are seeing manifesting itself, or maintaining cause, which is maintaining the disease. Both can be grouped as causa occasionalis. If you have been asked a short note on causa occasionalis, you have to give these 2 points. Okay, causa occasionalis, that is occasioning the disease. This causa occasionalis, again a Latin term, has to be removed. Okay, diseases from where these causa occasionalis has not to be removed. Okay, where there is no causal there is no manifest exciting cause, there is no cause which is maintaining the disease. Okay, the redness, conjunctivitis, the conjunctivitis of the eye, the redness of the eye, and you see uh, a small worm, a small fly in the eyes. That is manifest exciting cause. That is maintaining cause. That is maintaining this inflammation. Okay, that is maintaining this inflammation. So, have to be removed. Next, he has separated this disease. Always, always Hahnemann have categorically separated the surgical diseases. Those diseases where these causes should be removed, always have categorically separated that. From aphorism number 13, go to aphorism number 13, you will see the bracket that doesn't come within the provenance of manual surgery. Okay, underline that, aphorism number 13. Diseases that doesn't come under the manual of surgery, provenance of manual surgery. Okay, again in the introduction, same paragraph we have read, where he have differentiated first that this disease you have to do that, but in the diseases which are here. Now go on aphorism number 7 again, read from the comma. What after what we have read next.
We can perceive nothing but the morbid symptoms. It must be the symptoms alone by which the disease demands and wants.
एक भी जोड़े तुम्हारे क्वेश्चन समझ आते हैं ना.
Okay, sir, I am reading again. We can perceive nothing but the morbid symptoms. It must be the symptoms alone by which the disease demands and points to the remedy suited to relieve it. And moreover, the totality of these is symptoms of this outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease, that is, of the affection of the vital force.
Stop here. Stop here. Now read the bracket also. Bracket पढ़ने का तरीका है कि whenever you are reading the bracket, read in a different tone. Read it in a different tone. That you can separate. Let me read and listen. We can perceive nothing but the morbid symptom. It must regard being had to possibly miasm and attention paid to accessory circumstances. Okay, you have to pay the means you have to pay attention to the accessory circumstances also. Apart from totality, we have discussed it before also, that apart from totality, you are getting a totality of cuff, but not looking at the accessory circumstances. We have discussed that the person is using a mosquito coil at night and you are taking the cuff as totality. Okay, cough, dry cough, aggravated at night, and you are giving your medicine, but you are not paying attention to the accessory circumstances. That has been discussed in aphorism 5, 94, 208, 252. You are not paying heed to that. You cannot cure the cough. You are forming your totality correctly. Okay, you are forming your totality very accurately, very correctly. Cough, aggravated at night, this and that, but you are missing some part. Okay, discuss the case of my grandmother, where she was taking one of the hypertensive medicine for so long and she was having dry cough. She asked me for the medicine and I looked at, I was prescribing the medicine but not working. I looked at her prescription and there was a medicine which is causing the cough. I asked her physician to change this medicine and the cough will be cured. So this was accessory circumstances. You have to pay along with totality of the symptom. That is why it is included here in the bracket. It is included in aphorism number 18, 6th edition, with consideration of accompanying modalities. Go to aphorism number 18 and look. From this indubitable truth that beside totality of symptom, footnote, the 6th edition added with consideration of the accessory circumstances. The cause which is keeping up the disease still persists. Okay, so along with the totality, you have to look with the accessory circumstances also. Along with the totality, you have to look. We have discussed this 2-3 classes back, that to the past history, family history, which is an obstacle in our totality. Medicine is not able to penetrate that. That is obstacle. Medicine, you have to remove that obstacle so medicine can penetrate. Okay, so that is accessory circumstances. Accessory circumstances. That is causa occasionalis. Two things Hahnemann have already separated: causa occasionalis and regard being paid to the accessory circumstances. Now read the footnote. Totality of symptoms. This is the definition of totality of symptoms, and we have discussed what is the totality of symptoms and what is portrait of disease. For all the practical purpose, we are taking as same. For theoretical purpose, for our examination, we are telling that the portrait of disease is the a picture of Gandhiji, and totality is his specs and lathi and dhoti, and you will understand that this is Gandhiji. Okay, so totality of symptoms and portrait of disease. Now go to aphorism footnote to this aphorism. Read the footnote to this aphorism.
In all time, the old school physician, not knowing how else to
footnote first footnote. The previous page.
Oh, sorry, sir. It is not necessary to say that every intelligent physician would first remove this where it exists. The indisposition thereupon generally ceases spontaneously. He will
Okay, indisposition, give the reference to 150. We have discussed it before, and go to content and see that aphorism number 150. This is what it is being called. What it is being called there in aphorism number 50, content, and you will get the term slight ailments. Okay, and Kent is saying this slight ailment as mimicking sickness, but that is not going to serve our clinical purpose. Know what is indisposition, that is enough. But for the theoretical part, you have to read this indisposition. It is also being discussed in aphorism number 7 footnote. It is also being called as slight ailments by Hahnemann. It is also being called as mimicking sickness by Kent. Okay, and what is the indisposition? If you know the essence, what is indisposition, that will serve your clinical purpose. Okay, so go on.
he will remove from the room strong smelling flowers which have a tendency to cause sinus and hysterical sufferings. Extract from the foreign body that excites inflammation of the eye. Loosen the overtight bandage on a wound limb that threatens to cause mortification, and apply a more.
What is mortification here? Mortification means necrosis. Old term for necrosis in the literature, English literature. Necrosis.
A more suitable one. Lay bare and put a ligature on the wounded artery and endeavor to promote the expulsion of vomiting of belladonna berries that may have been extract foreign substance that may have got into the orifices of the body, the nose, gullet, ears, urethra, rectum, vagina. Crush the calculus. Open the imperforated anus of the newborn infant.
Okay, so stop here. We have discussed this. We have discussed that this vesical calculus. What is vesical calculus? Is the calculus of the bladder. Hahnemann is advising to crush it. Okay. Do you remember that when we have discussed aphorism number 183 in respect to aphorism number 183? Can you explain this? Anyone can explain this from what we have discussed on that day? Along, we have taken that class around 1 hour and 50 minutes, 15 minutes. That aphorism number 186. Now you can. Uh, Go to aphorism number 186. 186. Go to aphorism number 186. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. 10th line. Example. Read it.
By the reduction of dislocation, by bandages to bring together the lips of the wounds, mechanical press to steal the flow of the blood from the open arteries, in the by extraction of the foreign bodies that have penetrated into the living part, by making an opening in the cavity of the body in order to remove an irritating substance or to procure the evacuation of effusion or collection of fluids, by bringing
Okay,
into
underline this. Evacuation of effusion or collection of fluid. This we say is a controversial topic. Before that, this is one of the controversial topic Hanuman have discussed. That effusion we have discussed in detail before. Now just giving a hint that do you think that effusion should be removed? Effusion is a surgical disease and it should be removed. Ascites is a surgical disease and it should be removed. Do you think that? Hanuman is saying. I am not saying. I'm not saying that effusion should be removed or ascites should be removed. Hahnemann himself is saying. How can correlate these things? Hahnemann have told that bacteria pecan is not a disease. These are the disease result. But still he is telling that effusion should be removed, ascites should be removed. What does this mean? You are not audible, Anitan. You are trying to tell something, you are not audible.
Sir, I am saying that if it is hindering our dynamic treatment, then we should remove it.
Okay, if it is hindering our dynamic treatment. And we should remove it. Where it is hindering?
When it is so much.
Okay, we have told that if, now listen carefully again, I'm just summing up it. If the patient is coming to you with a breathing in the abdomen and patient has got a breathing distress, do you think that you will make a totality of that breathing distress and give your medicine on that symptom? You cannot cure that symptom because that symptom is of mechanical origin. Okay, until and unless you have to, means if it is so much that it is causing the breathing, it is hampering the breathing, normal breathing, so you have to tap out the fluid. Okay, it is giving a mechanical symptom. In ML Tyler Cyanothus chapter Cyanothus, you will get a line, a sentence which we have already shared in the group, that she is telling that if there is a vomiting, due to increased spleen. Due to increased spleen, there is a vomiting. That vomiting cannot be cured until and unless you have selected such medicine which is going to affect the increased spleen, because this increased vomiting is the mechanical symptom of that spleen. So in this effusion, ascites, if it is giving any mechanical symptom, okay, that should be removed. Mechanical symptoms, originator of mechanical symptoms should be removed. Breathing distress, like head of the pancreas, cancer of the head of the pancreas causing the bile duct obstruction, obstructive jaundice. You cannot cure this obstructive jaundice until and unless the head of the cancer of the head of pancreas is there, because this is a mechanical symptom. We have discussed one of our case of a grown up man who was having nocturnal enuresis. Okay, and we have given again and again medicine, so much medicines we have tried but failed, and finally we came to know that the person is suffering from worm infestation, and we gave a medicine Fucrium to that person, and that was cured. The nocturnal enuresis was cured because that nocturnal enuresis was the mechanical symptom of increased quantity of worms. Okay, and I believe that in that case the vermifuge, any of the vermifuge would have stopped that nocturnal enuresis. Okay, then to not to worm should not develop again, you have to give your this antisoric medicines. Okay, that have we have discussed in introduction also regarding this. So if any pathology is giving any mechanical symptom, that mechanical symptoms cannot be cured by the not taking that pathology in consideration. Okay, that pathology should be taken in consideration. That is the meaning here. The effusion, the ascites, if this effusion, pleural effusion is so much that it is producing mechanical distress to the patient, there is no nothing wrong in removing them. There is nothing wrong in removing the ascites. There is nothing wrong in removing the pleural effusion. But know that, be sure that these pleural effusions are not the disease. Okay, these are the product of disease. You have to treat what is causing the pleural effusion. Okay, just the time being, it will help your patient and remove the hindrance of your dynamic treatment, what you have tell correctly. Okay, any question having, anyone having any question? We have discussed this part in detail before. Okay, so you can go to it from our previous classes. So we will stop here in aphorism number 7 footnote. We will discuss some part of it, antipathy, what have been discussed in the second footnote, and we will continue from next class on. Anyone having any questions can ask.
Sir, can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Yes, you are audible.
I am asking a question that in aphorisms.
Please, একটু জোরে বলো, শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
Sir, can you hear me? Sir, I am saying aphorism we have discussed that failed by the patient himself, take into consideration of that one. But in cases, patient exaggerates. In case, what we will do?
Not take into consideration. That is to be given maximum importance. Only that is not. Okay, all should be taken into consideration, but the maximum importance should be. If the patient is saying burning and the patient friend is saying na eta dhop dhop. Okay, so what you will consider give more importance? To what you will attach maximum credence? That's what we have told. That to patient expression is always important than his friend's expression, than the physician's observation. Okay. Okay. Still there is a doubt. You are not audible properly, and you can ask it in next class. Okay, ask your question next class, or just ping me in group or ping me personally. I will tell you.
Okay, sir.
You are not properly audible. Okay, anyone having any question? Okay, so we will rest our class here and we will meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you for giving your patience attendance.